We've almost been married for 6 months.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is marriage what you thought it would be?
Yeah, because it's the same way. It's going exactly the same way it was when we were dating. Nothing changed. I'm just more responsible for your stuff.
I don't know if that makes me... If you don't... Well...
I'm just more responsible for you, that's all.
Some people might think of that as like, wait, what? You think of marriage the same as when you guys were dating? But I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay for you to say that, because I felt like when we were dating, you had a deep sense of duty toward me, even as your girlfriend.
Yeah, for sure.
To make sure I was taken care of. So I was just saying, some people might be like, oh my gosh, like you didn't change. But ever since day one that we've been together, he's always had a deep sense of duty. Actually, do you want to tell them how we met?
You've said this
No,
on
I
social-
haven't. I've never said this on social media. Nobody knows how we met.
Hinge.
We met on Hinge. But I will give you the backstory first.
Oh no. Jesus is real. I know the Lord is real.
Okay, so go get your popcorn.
No, please not one of your backstories.
Go get your popcorn. We're telling you how we met.
I don't. No one wants to hear this.
They do. They want to know how we met. All right, so that's how we met. I was in my apartment in North Hollywood, and I had been in North Hollywood for...
Call me when you're done. Okay. When you're done, come back. I will come back, tell the story.
No, you have to sit here.
I'm always here when you tell the 30-minute unbridged version of this.
So I was living in North Hollywood. Do you really not want to be here while I tell this part?
Because it's always 30 minutes.
Fine, go. What you gonna go do?
I'm gonna sit on the couch.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. Go tell the story.
So I was living in North Hollywood, right? And I had been on dating apps. Like, if you don't know, now you know. I'm 34. And I had been on dating apps here, there, everywhere. Like a moment in time throughout my 20s, you know, when Tinder first came out. So I was never ever consistently on dating apps. I had maybe been on OkCupid once before. Then I had a friend who got married from Coffee Meets Bagel, which that app is the most confusing app, so I never even used that one. But I had been on dating apps here and there. Basically, I had a group of church girlfriends, and the girls would be like, and my mom would say this to me all the time, when a man finds a wife, he findeth a good thing. My mom and some of the girls from the church group would be like, if you're on a dating app, that means that you're looking for your husband, and your husband should be looking for you. That means that you're in search of him. That's what the advice I got. My mom was like, why are you looking for him? He will find you. So they were like, don't be on a dating app, which you guys can let us know in the comments what you think of that, which I kind of understood. And dating apps, you just get so frustrated because you're like, oh my God, you have to keep meeting people over and over again. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? How's your day going? It's just so tiring. I was living in North Hollywood, was not on dating apps. All of a sudden, for several months, I was really sick. I went to the emergency room several times. And long story short, I found out that I had mold in my house. Yes, my apartment had mold in it. And it was, I'll put a picture for you guys to see. Like, you would have never known.
It comes up.
I mean, that's definitely mold growing on the wall. Like, my landlord was told that she needed a new roof on the roof of the apartment, and she just kept doing patchwork every year for like 6 years. And I found out that she needed a new roof. So when I found out that it was mold, it was raining in my bedroom. It was like moisture and mold in the ceiling and in the window panes and et cetera, et cetera. I rushed to start needing to find a new apartment. Literally now wearing a mask in my apartment at all times, crying like, oh my God, is my stuff infested with mold? I wasn't prepared to move financially. So I'm looking for a place. I'm driving around LA. I'm really just driving around North Hollywood. And like I said, I had been in North Hollywood already for like 6 years. But I remember one day I felt like God was speaking to me, and he was like, to have something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And I was like, Sierra, you're just sitting here looking in Studio City, Toluca Lake, North Hollywood, Burbank. Like, you literally are always in these locations. You're going to the same gym. You're going to the same grocery stores. Like, your routine is literally the same. How can you have something new in life if you're just stuck, because I was comfortable and the community that I knew in North Hollywood was there. Like my readers were there for auditions and my comfort level, my instructors for my gym, everything was right there. I was like, all right, God, I'm gonna branch out. So I'm driving around looking for apartments. On a Sunday, my girlfriend sent me this message by Mia Fields. I will link her testimony, and I've sent it to so many girlfriends, and every girlfriend I sent it to was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I'm literally crying my eyes out as I'm listening to her testimony. And my friend calls me when I'm done listening, and we prayed on the phone. Shout out to Kim. We prayed on the phone, and she just prayed. I was like, Kim, I want to find an apartment by Wednesday. I said, I need God to do that. Long story short, a miracle happens. I find an apartment. I start now living in Reseda, a good mileage away from where I was. I live in this brand new apartment building.
Yeah, it's moving 6. Hey,
Hi.
it's a new day.
Shoes.
Girl. Hey. Hey. Ooh. It's a new season. It's a new day. Fresh anointing. It's coming your way. And I love y'all, so we can go upstairs and talk about this. And it's filled with power and authority. For it's a new season.
Air conditioning.
It's a new day. It's a new season. Woo! It's a new day.
Mom, if you don't stop singing the song, stop. Working my nerve. Mama,
coming your way, and it's filled with power. Oh, see, that rug can go right up there in front of the thing.
the white rug is right here.
No, and the other one
I'm putting 2 rugs right here.
Okay, it's here.
Shoes though.
It's a new season. It's a new day. Fresh anointing. Hey, look, brand new wash and dryer. Hey. Look how.
Mom, you have gone so much. Nobody wants to hear all of that.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Anybody taking their shoes off? Yeah. Yes, Lord. Will somebody say yes?
My studio.
Yeah, this is the studio.
Oh, this isn't your bedroom?
Yeah.
Oh, I just asked you if this is your room.
Oh, Lord, we tired.
Okay, that's the studio. What, you got 2 bedrooms?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. This will probably be the studio.
Yeah.
This is the studio.
Uh-huh.
And another freaking balcony?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
Look at that.
And a little closet over here.
I have a, I
Yeah.
have to have a,
Uh-huh.
what is it called? A day bed.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah say office, work. Hey. Uh-huh. Nice, brand new. Yep. This is it. Look what God has done. He has done great things. He has done great things. Bless his holy name. Okay, is it time for the movie to come off? Turn the movie off. Movie off.
Huh?
Hey, what y'all got to say? Kayla, what you got to say?
This is beautiful.
Today's
I'm so
Kayla's
happy for
birthday.
her. I'm
Happy
so
birthday,
excited.
Kayla.
Thank you. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for Sierra.
Yeah.
This is so nice. Okay.
Amen, Jesus.
Okay, let me put it down.
Okay.
And cut.
And cut, okay.
I do voiceover also for a living. How would you describe where I was doing my voiceover? It's literally...
You know the closet's under a staircase?
Oh, that's a great way of putting it. The ceiling is made of wood.
There's
Yeah, it was the
deck,
roof.
There's a roof deck on top of her apartment building, and people would just run around and let their dogs pretend it's the Kentucky Derby up there. So sometimes it would get very loud.
Like galloping, like literally, like just imagine somebody galloping, and because it's like made of wood, it's so loud. One night I'm doing voiceover. At this point, it's like 8 or 9 p.m. I'm working so hard because I got to pay my $3,000 rent, right?
Don't get started.
I'm like, oh my God, who the hell is that? And multiple times when people were galloping during the day when I was trying to work, I would go up there and I wouldn't see them anymore. So that night I was like, I storm out of the voiceover thing as I'm trying to record a job, and I run upstairs and I'm like, I'm gonna get him. And not hit him, but I'm like, I'm gonna get him, whoever this is, like galloping. So I go up to the roof and I'm like,
is it you? Is it you? Are you the one?
And my neighbor, she's like walking around all cool.
No, bitch, it's not me.
And I'm like, imagine like sort of the personality of Angie from Harlem, but a woman who's so beautiful. She's in her late 40s, just amazing. And I was like,
okay, who was it?
She's like,
bitch, I'm about to help you find whoever it is.
We end up walking around this massive apartment complex, 100 to 150 units. And she starts telling me her testimony. Her mom had cancer, her brother had cancer, she got cancer. I end up talking to her for like 2 hours. I end up inviting her over for Thanksgiving. Now this woman has a personality. Like, it's me, my cousin, and my mom at the house for Thanksgiving. And she's like,
girl, you gotta have these eat your.
She's just really saying all the things. I'm like,
where do you meet men?
and she's like,
girl, I be on these apps, get in these men.
I'm like,
the apps? No, the apps don't work. I've done the apps on and off for years. They don't work.
She's like,
nah, girl, it's the apps. You gotta work the game a little different.
but if you met my neighbor, you would be like, oh my God, this big, boisterous personality.
Yeah, but very sweet lady.
Very sweet. And such a beautiful heart. Spoke so much life into me, telling me how beautiful I was and how I should be putting myself out there. But I was just like,
girl, like, I can't.
Thanksgiving, things were very slow. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna download Hinge. And at the time, I wasn't dating this guy, but I was sort of in a situationship. There was this guy who just was...
Please don't go into all that, my love. You gotta get
I'm getting there, D. I have to give the backstory. So I was in a situationship, and I think that matters to the ladies. So listen, ladies.
Yes, you can add me. I just got up right now, and you had me rolling. Thank you, D, for kept saying that I'm very sweet, because your motherfucking wife maybe to be some true gangster bitch. I love the end video, the last video. He was like, please do not go into all that. I have to say it. Look at you trying to put down your little foot. Girl, you better sit your ass still. Yes, you can add my thing, my TikTok. Oh my God, you guys are so cute. I love it. All right, bye.
The thing is, God can bring your husband if you are in a situationship because God brought mine. But the best thing that you can do, and I'm getting there, is to get out of that. To make... Why are you laughing?
You said I'm getting there and you're no closer to it.
I am. I'm getting there. So God can bring your man. You do have to position yourself. And the thing is, even though I was in a situationship, I was listening to my affirmations. Like, I have recorded myself. Like, I knew in my mind, like I pictured in my mind, I could feel it, what I wanted. Like, I knew D was coming because I have several videos that I've never posted of me just talking to the camera about like God was about to do something. And I just knew. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me get the phone. Okay, so last night, I was getting work done and it was late and I was just like, thinking about my life and just trying to have open ears for what God is saying to me. And last night, today is December 13th, 2021, and last night, I don't know, I feel close, like God is about to like do something. Like He's doing a new thing, something big. Like the word for my life this year is overflow. I've just been praying for abundance, overflow, that it's just so much joy, so much financial freedom, peace, love, happiness, like I like sing to myself sometimes. I'm overflowing. I always like go around the house being like, overflowing. I'm overflowing. Okay, anyway. I've been like claiming overflow. And so like last night I was working on stuff, thinking like, God, come on, like, what are you doing? Help me, all the things. And I just called my mom and I was like, Mom, I meant to tell you. God, I noticed, like, I've been saying, like, this is my Jesus year. I'm 33. So this is my Jesus year. And, okay, 33, like, Jesus year, purpose, so many amazing things happening. And I was like, but Mom, guess what? I was like, guess what? I'm in my 33rd year. And I said, Mom, I'm also going to be in my 7th year since my bone marrow transplant. So I hit 33, Jesus year, and 7, the number of completion, all in the same year. 7 years since going through that craziness. And then my mom was like, I'm gonna bring it home for you, girl. She just told me that right now. She's like, are you sitting down? I was like, no, I'm not sitting. She's like, she's like, you don't know? I was like, no, I don't know. She's like, what's 33 plus 7? I was like, I don't know. She was like, come on, see her? I was like, oh, 34, 35, 36, 37. She's like, I'm like 40. Okay, but why 40? She's like, come on, girl, 40 days and 40 nights. I said, oh, Jesus, oh, Lord, it's a bar. And I ran for my life. So I'm not wearing pants. I was about to get in the tub. So I'm like, oh my God, Mom, like, I hit the trifecta, 33, 7, and 40 days and 40 nights. It's been 40 days and 40 nights. Like, y'all, my life has been a challenge. And I've been praying, like, God, I want this next season to be overflowing. It's going to be the best year of my life. I just know it. Like, I just know it. I'm in a new apartment. I'm happy. I'm releasing my stressors. I don't know. Why am I claiming it? I'm releasing stressors, anxiety, just trusting God. And I'm like, okay, God, it's a new season. It's a new day. Fresh anointing is coming my way. It's a season of power and prosperity. It's just going to be overflow, abundance, joy, peace, happiness, love, new relationships, romantic friendships, new career. I'm just like, the book is going to be finished, like purpose, like all these things all this life that I've lived is like leading to these moments. This is the big moment. And I don't know why, but I know it's big. So I had to document it. 33, 7, 40. And today has been a challenge for me. I've been in my feels today. Today is December 13th, 2021. It was a gloomy day in LA and my spirit just has been like fighting today. Fighting to stay on top. I don't know if it's the holiday season or what, but overflowing. That's what I claim, overflow. Words, the words, worthiness, worthy. It's crazy. Like, I never felt worthy in my life before, but in the last like 8 months, like, God has just been showing me, girl, you're worthy. Like, it's an amazing feeling when you finally know you're worthy, when you get to that place where you're like, hell yeah, I deserve it. I deserve the healing. I deserve it. Like, I'm worthy. so many people don't get what they want and get what they need because they don't feel worthy of it. I saw this video, this affirmation video, I don't know, several months ago. I have it in my journal and I wrote it down, and now I know it by heart and I say it all the time. I know and trust that I'm worthy of having what I want. It always shows up for me. It always works out for me. I allow this to be worked out for me. And I say it now before everything. I say, like, I know and trust that I'm worthy of having what I want. It always shows up for me. It always works out for me. I allow this to be worked out for me. Before I ask for a certain amount of money, before a job, for healing, when the enemy comes in like a flood, like telling me bad things are happening to me with my health, I say, no, I know and trust that I'm worthy of having what I want. I want healing, wholeness, completeness. It always shows up for me. It always works out for me. And it always does. And I was telling my mom that yesterday. I was like, Mom, God has done everything I've asked him. Everything. I told her yesterday, I was like, I was in the staircase as a little girl at my grandma's house, and it would be the holidays. And I would just, like, my grandma has this staircase, and I would see all the people downstairs in the living room and the dining room. I'd be looking, and I was like, am I going to get to be around for this? I have this disease and I don't know how to get rid of it. Like, I have this thing and I know there's something wrong with me, but how is it going to go away? Like, how am I going to get to live the life that I dream of? And I'm like, Mom, all the sleepless nights, I was worried that I was going to be sick. I was like worried I was going to die. And I'm like, God saved me. And then I told her, I was like, Mom, the day we watched Dreamgirls, the day that we went to this mall in Peoria. It's like the food court. It's like famous bar. Northwoods Mall in Peoria, Illinois. And my Aunt Sherry dropped us off at the mall to go see Dreamgirls. And y'all know we snuck a bunch of food in the movie theater. So we got all this Chinese food, like crab wontons, like all the things you want to eat when you're young, you go to the movies. And I remember we went in the theater and we sat down for Dreamgirls, and the lights, move right out of my life. I was like, oh my God, like I didn't even eat one thing. I think I took a bite of something, and then the whole movie, every time, the whole movie, I was just crying. My cousin will tell you, I was crying because I was like, I have to have this opportunity. Like, how do I get to where they are? How do I entertain people on this level? How do I get there? And I was just crying, and I couldn't stop crying. I was always crying when I would see moving pieces of work, of art, seeing people being like so devastated that I felt so far away from the dream, like so far away. And it's crazy because even in my years of pageantry, of like competing, like even the years before I competed, when I was at home in Houston, Texas, watching Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants. And then like, I knew who so many of them were. And now I watched some of these girls compete, and now I have their phone numbers. Like, I know some of them. And it's just like, I was like, God, how do you get to where these people are? And then to be in the mix for shows, and to be auditioning, to be on to have a show on Disney, like to book something on Disney, on a cartoon, like all the things that I felt so far away from, and then to be in the midst of it now, like I'm in the mix. Sierra, I got the healing. I know the pageant girls who I was like watching from Houston. I am auditioning for things, like all the things I prayed for, like they're right here. He's granted me everything. How dare you not believe? How dare you not believe that you don't look at the track record and be like, dang God, like we do have a track record, like you have taken care of me. he's taking care of me. I know it sounds small. I'd be like, oh, you know, some pageant girls. It's like not about that. It's like when you're this, people don't understand when you're this little girl who feels hopeless, like hopeless, that nothing, that it's not gonna happen. How do you know if it's gonna happen for you? You don't even know. You don't even know how it can happen. I didn't know how it could happen. There was no transplants when I was growing up. There was no women on TV with natural hair. I straightened my hair every single day that I was in high school. And I'm like out in these streets wearing my natural hair. Like, who am I? Who am I? Like, worthy. Like, getting to a place where you love yourself and you're like, no, I'm worthy of healing. I'm worthy of getting to be myself. I get to be myself. And I love that, to get to the place where you love you and you don't even give a shit anymore what anybody else thinks. Man, God, we still on this road. I still need you to do some things for me. But you've been good, man. He's been good. And the relationships along the way. You know? God has provided. And I'm just grateful. I'm really freaking grateful. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. To my future self, when you come back and watch this video, anything is possible. Just stay in God. He's already had you this far, girl, so I ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm gonna get my happy butt in the bathtub. Wow. So anyway, I'm in this situation with this guy, and he just kept disappointing me. He had told me, he's like, hey, like, we're gonna go to the movies. Friday night came, and I'm in full hair and makeup, lonely, really do want to go to the movies. I get a call from him at 10:30 at night. I didn't answer the phone. He texted me after I didn't answer. He's like, calling you about the movies. And I'm like, man, it's 10:30. Why are you just now calling me about the movies? But it was just things like that, which is like, no, that's not the kind of person you want to be with. He disappoints me one day, and I had downloaded the app on Hinge, but I had never gotten on it. So I had been on the app for what, like 2 weeks or something? It was a while, right? You messaged me and I messaged you back.
It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I had downloaded the app, but I wasn't on it because I was just busy and, you know, doing other things. One night, I go to bed and I go, Sierra, you can either be in this situation in a year from now and have your heart broken and you see what this is right now. Or you can make a different choice. That quote came to me again. To have something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. So I literally go to bed like, oh, this is so horrible. And I wake up the next morning at like 5 a.m. and I say, Sierra, to have something I've never had, you have to do something I've never done. I had probably like 20 messages from 20 different guys or something who had messaged me on Hinge. And I literally just scrolled through and I said, I'm going to pick somebody who looks like they have a kind spirit, a beautiful smile, they look like they have a job. And I'm going to maybe pick something a little bit different than I might normally pick. And I kid you not, D was the first photo that I clicked on who had messaged me. And I literally said, you know what? I'm going to engage him. I'm not going to just write a, hey, how you doing? What are you up to? I'm going to literally try to have a conversation with this man, like a real conversation, and give him something to chew on in my message. So I wrote him at like 5 o'clock in the morning. When you've done something over and over again, you think that if I try it again, I'm gonna have to go through a bunch of frogs. But I tell family and friends now, if you're looking for love, maybe this time you don't have to go through a bunch of frogs. Because I literally, like, I don't know if it was God or what, I literally selected Dee's photo as the first photo of a guy that I was gonna talk to. And I'll let you start from there.
It was like 5:30 in the morning.
It was
I saw her
really
message,
early.
and you know, it's amazing because when you're on Hinge, some women play coy and they're like, "Hey, great," you know, you're like, "Okay." So you start trying to build in from there. And Sierra gave me a long dissertation. It was amazing, and I was like, "Well, you have to understand, I had seen her picture 2 weeks prior, and I went, that is what I want. That, like, I just knew. I read her profile, and I just was like in love already. And when she messaged me and sent me a real, like, you know, a real dissertation, something really thought out, I really loved it. And I just respond with the same exact vigor. And, you know, I immediately said, hey, let's FaceTime. And I think we FaceTimed
I was busy, so it was a few days later.
Yeah, that's what everyone says on Hinge. I'm busy.
No,
Anyway,
but I really was.
fine.
I was trying to pay my $3,000 rent.
Yeah, and then we FaceTimed.
It was December 23rd.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about Sierra, she saves everything. Well, I like it sometimes. She's kind of a hoarder. Oh, sweetie. You're a hoarder.
What?
We're 3 minutes into your Jesus year. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. As I do the work of a disciple. Serve.
Kayla's bringing, yeah, but she's being a nag. Serving and
You're
nagging.
being a hoarder.
She's serving and nagging.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, Kayla,
boxes.
Kayla,
And the drawers are still full.
these
4
drawers,
boxes
Kayla, these
of
drawers are
clothes.
tiny. It's like 3 items in one drawer. Literally.
4 boxes of clothes is all I have to say.
Listen, 33-year-old old lady. How does it feel to be 33?
Full clothes, still.
She's a nag. She's 33 and nagging. You're the nagging woman we were talking about from that show. You're the nagging.
I know you guys are.
You a nagging
I
woman?
know you guys are.
How does it feel to be 33? Kayla's in LA. Hope she came out here to help me move into my new place.
I'm grateful. It feels great.
33. It's gonna be the best year ever, huh?
It sure will be. Sure is. Good job. Yep. So, we have a long night ahead of us.
We do.
Oh, you do. I'm going to sleep.
Whatever.
But I like the fact that she hoards pictures to some degree because she still has, she screenshotted every message I sent to her between us.
On
in
Hinge.
her Hinge, and I saw it, and I just was very moved by that. She said, "Oh, Derwin, I don't have much time. I think I have 30 minutes or something."
So
like that.
so December 23rd, my mom had called me that morning, and she was like, "Look, you're going to Peoria with me. I need you to go with me for the holiday." And I was like, "Mom, I need to stay in LA. I have things to do." She's like, "I'll buy your ticket. I need you to just come with me for a few days." I was like, "Okay, fine." She bought the ticket on the 23rd, and we were literally leaving the next day on Christmas Eve to go to Peoria. So I was like, I need to pack. I got things to do. So I told Derwin, I was like, listen, we could FaceTime. I have 15 minutes. And we ended up being on FaceTime for like 2 hours?
It was like 3 hours.
It was
very, very
It
long
was
time.
so long.
And I think what I loved was that Sierra was talking all this big trash when we got home, like, yeah, I don't have time because I'm busy. And then she's like, honestly, dating is not really that for me. You know, my ideal situation is not getting married. You know, I live in one house, you live next
Okay,
door.
wait. Let me explain that for a second. I am a little bit of a neat freak. I like everything to be in its perfect place. My cousin had literally just visited me. She was with me for like a month. And She came because I asked her to come when I had mold in my house. She came to help me move. Honestly, I love having her in my home. I love having her. As an only child, even with my mom, I just tend to get really annoyed. Like, and I'm not really pleasant all the time because I really like alone time. Like, even if we're in different rooms, I just really thrive on alone time. So when she was there, I noticed that I was like, if I'm married, we're gonna live in the same house, and I like the idea of having a partner. If I'm sick of my cousin and I'm ready for her to go back, maybe like I'm not gonna really like marriage. She had literally just left. I told D on that FaceTime, I was like,
You know, I feel like I've been single for so long and on my own that I think maybe I want to do what the older people do. Maybe I have my own house and you have your own house.
You just do you and I do me, and when we're ready, we just like, we're together sometimes and we're not together sometimes. And D was just on FaceTime, and I remember I was telling him that, and he was like, Sierra, it sounds like you're looking for a Stedman. He was like, I'm not really looking for that, but he's like, I'm gonna support you and encourage you. And I was like, oh my God, this guy just said that's not what he's looking for, because the typical guy would probably be like, yeah, no commitment. He told me that you felt like you could just hear like there was a lot of disappointment and hurt, and me like laughing and saying those things. So the thing that I really loved about D when that happened was that I just felt like when you're talking to a man or when you're talking to a person, it's like they hear you, but are they like listening? Like, are they really hearing what is coming out of your heart? And I felt like I was saying a lot of surface things, but he was understanding the deeper level of it. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And I really liked that. That conversation was just so full of laughter, and I loved it.
We laughed real certain. We just laughed, and what I found is when I was on Hinge, there are people and I'm sure we've all experienced this. You FaceTime someone, you talk to them, and you have a connection with someone instantly, or you're like, what? Next, you know. And again, there were some people I met, and I felt like there was instant connection. But the question was, how committed are they to continuing the get to know each other thing? Some people are more committed to it, some people are less. But sometimes you just don't have a connection for whatever reason, and sometimes some people are just boring. Some people have no personality. Some people are just like, meh. And the thing I loved about talking with Sierra is like she just instantly, because she talks with so much emphasis and just like she just talks loud, and I just love all of that. I like her cadence. I love all of that because it just gives you life, and I loved it. I just loved it all. And then she just got my brand of humor, because like the thing that's so funny is like if I think I'm fairly funny.
You're very funny.
And the thing that's really funny is like there's sometimes as someone who's fairly funny, you'll say things and some people will be mortified. You said that. Like,
D says,
and I'll just because I literally will just talk shit. Like I'll make fun of somebody, like not anything malicious, but I made fun of Sierra and she just busted out laughing.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes you do that to someone just to kind of test them out, because I knew I didn't want to be with anyone who was uptight and like, oh my gosh, Jordan, you can't say that. Oh my gosh. And she instantly just got my brand of humor, just laughed her ass off, and I just loved it. Whereas someone else, like or even with my philosophies in life, I would explain what kind of how I view life, and Sierra was like, "Oh, that's great." I remember the first girl I FaceTimed with, she was like, "You think you're God?" I'm like, well, I was mortified. Oh my gosh, you got that I think I'm God out of that conversation? You worship yourself. No, that's not anything. You've been with me for a year now. I've never said anything like that. I don't think I'm God's gift to the earth. No. And she totally just misinterpreted what it is, and I knew instantly she was not for me, because if that's what you get out of my belief system, well, no, that's not. I don't think I'm the center of the universe. So obviously, I knew she wasn't for me, but I felt like she instantly got me. I liked her values. I just appreciated it because we had conversations about God and just spiritual stuff, and it meant a lot to me. But what really had me sold, like as we kept having our conversation for the next couple of weeks, she was in the kitchen, as she always is. And I should just pan, like there's like all of her kitchen stuff to our right, and she's like using her Vitamix to make a smoothie. No, she was making almond milk. You were making almond milk, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I just make my own almond milk." I'm like, "You make your own almond milk?" And again, I didn't know that was a thing. Like I thought that was something the Amish did. I don't know. I was like, "You can make almond milk?" She's like, "Yeah, you don't drink your own almond milk." Well, no. You go to the store like everyone else. So then she's like, well, she shows me the bowl where they've been soaking, and then I'm like, what are you gonna do with this? She starts putting everything, the Vitamix. She's like, I'm like, I'm seeing the water turn white, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's not even that impressive.
I've never done that before, and you know I'm easily amused. And then she puts it into the nut bag, squeezes it out into her big jar, and she's like, I've got almond milk. I'm like, you have almond milk? I'm like, well, what do you do with it? Well, obviously to drink it, though. But then she goes, well, really, and she had another one in the fridge. She goes, well, let me show you what I do with it. So then she goes, well, I'm going to have a shake. I'm like, you make shakes with your own made almond milk? She goes, so she then washes it out, puts the almond milk in, puts the berries and all the fancy stuff she puts in there, and makes this beautiful, like, it was like a pink-red berry shake that I now love. And I'm like, God, like, if I could get her to make me a smoothie, I might be like the luckiest man in the world. And I was like, so you made that from scratch. I'm like, the only thing you did not do was grow the berries yourself. She goes, yes. But then she goes, well, but then after she finishes with her milking out the almond milk, she has this powder stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what do you do with it? She goes, oh, you don't know? I'm like, well, no, I'm simple. She spreads it out on a cookie sheet. She goes, I make almond flour. I'm like, you make almond flour? And I'm thinking, that's a thing? And I'm like, this woman's into witchcraft. So she takes out a jar. So she sticks it in the oven, it goes to her jar goes, takes out a thing of almond flour. And I'm like, well, what do you do with almond flour? She puts it back. She takes out her lemon bars and goes, I make lemon bars with my own made milk and my own. I was like, I said, you make things from scratch? I'm like, I have to marry Mary Poppins. Like, I want Mary Poppins in their life every day. And then, because we talked for like 3-4 hours, she takes out the almond flour and then shows me how she turns it into almond flour, and I was sold. I thought this woman was so incredible. Great that I've always it wasn't just that, but I was just so taken aback by how talented and amazing she was, because I never thought about that, Yeah. And honestly, I feel so spoiled every day because I get to be treated to that every day. Like, I'll come home from work for lunch and she'll make me like a peanut butter smoothie, or like her berry smoothie, or like her kale chips, or whatever thing that she makes. And I just, because I kind of had an idea what I wanted in terms of, like, I really like the fact that she was like, hey, I really want to take care of you. Like, I mean, I think this is the first time I came to her house. And again, I knew she was all creative and like making stuff, but I didn't know how much she was going to force it on me, because she's a very forceful person sometimes. But I wanted someone who's going to love me a lot, right? I get to her house, and we had just gone on the farmer's market for the first time together, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I really like, it's one of my favorite, one of my all-time favorite things is, like, I love going to the farmer's market with my wife. I just think it's like our together time. We try different foods, but it's just something. It just spiritually connects us. It's just something that helps bond our friendship, because it's something she loves to do. It's something I like to do with her. It's something beautiful to just inside my soul, and it just feels right. But anyways, so we go. She picks up some celery. I didn't know what she was going to do with any of that crap. I was like, well, whatever. She bought vegetables. Great. Who cares? Celery. So we bought celery. I sit down and start watching TV. She takes out a juicer. Well, I know that shit ain't for me. So I was so wrapped in my TV show, I genuinely did not care. And she has these 2 big ghetto glasses that are abnormally tall. I don't know why they're so tall, because it just means it's just more green juice for me to drink. So I obviously was very upset emotionally and distraught, because she goes, so I made you some green juice. I said, well, thank you, but I'm not drinking that. So God bless you, and I appreciate it. This woman starts, we're gonna be together, dude. I just want us to live a very long time, and I just want you to be very healthy. Like, she was distraught. I'm not even exaggerating, just distraught that I did not drink her green juice.
Yeah, he was like, he rejected it.
I really literally rejected. She's like, I just want you to be healthy. That's all. I just want to be healthy, darling. Like, it smells like grass.
What do you mean? It's got grass in it.
Man.
Just drink it. I'm not fighting either of you for the bathroom.
Yeah, why
Wait.
you put so much grass in it?
What do you mean, grass? This is parsley juice.
But I taste grass, the grass, lemongrass or something.
Just chuck it down. Chuck it down. Drink
as bad as I
it.
thought it would be.
You said it's as bad as you thought it would be?
It's as bad as I thought it would be.
I don't think it's bad. Just drink it.
How?
Just chug it.
This isn't college. Like,
Why are you nursing it? You don't nurse it. You just drink it.
I was like, and then, you know, my personality is such where I'm like, I don't want to be told what to do. Like, leave it alone.
so much his personality.
But she's like, no, it's not because I want to tell you what to do, even though now I know it is kind of a little bit. But I genuinely think she wanted me to be healthy, right? And I was like, oh, and I thought about it for like 30 seconds, and I was like, well, that's actually very kind. No one's ever said, Derwin, I want you to live a long time, so I'm going to demand you drink green juice. I was like, that might be one of the kindest things anyone's ever done for me. I tried it, and I was like, this is gross. It takes me all day now to drink green juice, but now thankfully she puts fruit in it, so it's actually like
Before I
sweet.
met him, I never put fruit in my green juice.
So it was straight celery, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Now, my second thing I'll mention about this, and this might be revealing too much information, is I don't like using the bathroom in public places.
No, it's literally a thing.
I don't.
Like, it's literally a thing where I've had to be like, yelling at him, like, stop holding
Well, you know,
it.
but you also know it's kind of weird because you're at someone's, like, a new girlfriend's house.
Every time D comes home, that's the first thing he has to do because he has been holding it, and I get so mad
Well, I
at
come
him.
home at like 11:30,
But
12
keep
o'clock,
going.
so it's fine.
Keep going.
And I was like sweating bullets because immediately it hits my stomach. And I'm like, oh no, I have to use the bathroom.
I was your girlfriend.
And then I was thinking, the first thing that goes through my mind is I was like, can I hold it? And then what I realized is when green juice hits your stomach and you're not initiated, there is no holding it. Nature, the Lord's work is coming. That's what I always like.
That's what he calls it.
The Lord's
Every day he's like, I have to go. I'm doing the Lord's work. Like, leave me alone. I'm doing the Lord's work. Leave me alone. He acts like a little. Have you guys ever seen little kids when I nanny little kids who are like 2 and they're not potty trained yet and they're wearing a diaper? I swear, every little kid who takes a crap on themselves has like their particular corner. Or I had one kid who just goes behind the curtain every time she's taking a crap. And if I come near them, they're like, Nosier, no, Nosier! Sour, no, Sour! Like, every time they have to take a poop, they're like, no, Sour, no! And so D literally is like a 2-year-old when he's taking a crap. He's like, no!
I know, that's not true.
Don't bother me! Don't open the door! Don't look at me!
I like my privacy when I'm doing the Lord's work. As a humble servant of the Lord, I like my alone time.
So annoying.
Just don't like to be bothered, and you like to bother me anytime I'm doing the Lord's
We
work.
have veered off so bad from our how we met each other story. We need to get back on track.
Can we delete all of this?
No.
We have
Okay.
to.
So
anyways,
getting back on track. No, we need to get back to. We had the FaceTime. You might ask.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Christmas Day is coming, right? It's December 23rd. Christmas Day is coming. And I'm leaving out of town on Christmas Eve. So Dee's like, can I call you? Do you want to be called or text? I was like, yeah, you can call, you can text, whatever. I'm in like Peoria where there's like not really that much to do. And when we went, was that the end of 2021? Yeah, it was 2021, December 2021. So COVID was still a thing, and I feel like my family was acting a little like weird about it. So when we got to Peoria, nobody was coming over like to my grandmother's house to see us. So I was literally at my grandma's house just chilling. And I think maybe by the 3rd night that I was there, Dee was like calling me. And every night till I came back, we were on FaceTime for what? 5 hours?
Yeah.
Every night. So he asked me on a date on January. I got back what day? January 2nd? We were going on a date on January 1st or January 2nd. We're going on a date on January 2nd. I think it was a Sunday. When my mom and I land back in LA, my mom literally like drops her bags at the airport. And I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? She's like, I'm having chest pain. So immediately when we get off the plane, I rush my mom to the emergency room. They're keeping her. They're not letting me stay because of COVID, blah, blah, blah. I tell Dee I might have to cancel our first date because my mom is at the hospital. And I knew you knew I wasn't lying because we had been on FaceTime every day. And I was really looking forward to seeing him. He goes, oh, like, please let me know if there's anything I can do for you. And I remember being like, yeah, like, actually, can you go to the store and get, like, a chicken, some feminine products? Like, remember? Mm-hmm. I sent him a list, and he was like, okay, no problem. I was like, I'm just kidding. I don't need you to do that. But I was like, oh, my God. Like, I think he was legitimately going to, like...
I would have done that for you.
He was going to go do those things. And I was like, oh, my gosh. My mom ends up coming home from the hospital, and I am able to go on my date with him. And on the date, when I got there, I remember being like, this is a no. He's short. Like, Dee also has these quirks that he does that...
I'm 5'8".
If you don't know him, he has, like, nervous energy tics. Like, I don't know what else to say. But, like, he just does this thing where he has, like, nervous energy. And I remember going to the bathroom telling my friend, like, I said, it's F no. I was like, no, he's not for me. I was like, that's so weird because we had the best conversations when I was in Peoria. So we went on the date. I did laugh. And Dee swears that I loved him on the date because he's like...
Here's my wife talking trash again.
He was
I had a terrible time.
Dee swears that I... I did have a good time, but the way I go on a date, if I've taken the time to do hair, do makeup, and go out with somebody, I'm not going to just leave a guy, like, high and dry. There's been plenty of guys that was like, oh, it's a no, but I've stayed just to be kind. Like, they're paying for a meal. I've never dated that way. So Dee's like, oh, you loved it. And I was just like, I wasn't sold. So I go home. He messages me, thank you for the date or whatever. A couple of days pass, and he's like, he sends me a voice note like, Sierra, when can I get you back on the calendar? And he's just so formal. And
I can't be very formal.
He was so formal, and I was like, he has no swag. Like, he doesn't really know how to talk to me. Like, I just was like, why is he like, he'll do this thing where he'll be like, how are we doing today? What did we do? How are we making money? Like, these are his, like, this... You're laughing because that's what you do. I'm sorry, baby. Are you okay?
You just watched our relationship.
I'm sorry. But Dee does this thing where when he's like nervous or something, and he does it with his hands too, he's like, did we make money? How are we feeling today? Like, it's literally like, he just gets so, like, nervous or something. And I watched him do it with strangers, so I was like, I can't date somebody like this. Like, he's weird. Like, he has no swag. Like, I'm trying to be
First of all, I'm
trying to be like with a man who's like, yo, what up, girl? Like, hey, C, like, what you up to?
I say it to you all the time.
No, like, I mean, he can't do a really good Daquan voice, but give him your Daquan voice.
I'm not doing that on camera.
Do your Daquan voice.
Too much to lose at this point. My career is very flimsy.
So anyway, I'm just like, it's a no for me. So he's asking me on another date, and I'm like, I'm just busy. Which I am busy because you've seen how many... I was literally doing auditions from every angle. Commercial, theatrical, voiceover, trying to make money. Like, I was hustling.
Yes.
So, anyway, kind of blew him off. We don't talk for what? Like 10 days?
Yeah. 10
days, we don't talk. And one night I finish recording and I leave my house, and I remember I was outside of Food for Less. And then I was like, Sierra, you don't have to marry this guy. Just, you can talk to him and, have a friendship with him because you guys had such great conversation during all that time that you guys were in Peoria. Like, just call him. So I called him. He didn't answer. He was on a date. Because my man...
Listen, I had my...
He was like, I'm going to find...
Listen, I scheduled like 2-3 dates a week.
And I feel like that's a fun video, too, on how Dee sees dating. Let me just finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he's on a date. So I go home. I'm sitting at my dining table like 10 p.m. And he FaceTimes me. And we ended up talking, and he told me, he was like, yeah, like I'm in the military. I'm actually going to Killeen, Texas tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. We end up chatting that night, and at this point, I've already told myself I don't like him. I don't want to be with him. He's somebody to talk to. We have great conversation. I fell asleep on the phone because that's what I do. I fall asleep all the time.
A lot.
I fall asleep. Y'all see me yawning. I'm tired. So I fall asleep on the phone, and he told me he was leaving at like 4 a.m. So I wake up early in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, I fell asleep on him on FaceTime. I was like, if this nigga is lying, like, if he's telling the truth, he should be up. I FaceTimed him at 4 a.m. And lo and behold, he was in an Uber on his way to the airport. And then during that time when he went to Killeen, he like texted me. He's like, hey, I landed. Like, I'm going to call you later. So he would call me on FaceTime. And at this point, I'm like, I like looking cute on FaceTime for him because I don't want him to see me look ugly. I still want him to think I'm pretty. I was like, I don't really like him. So the facade was completely gone. And Dee and I were actually talking about that a couple of days ago. Like, we literally did not marry the representatives of each other. We literally, like, what he got from me is exactly who I am, and what I got from him is exactly who I am. And I feel like that would be the number one thing I would tell people when they're dating. Like, don't pretend, because when you get married, there's an expectation for that person to show up that you were pretending to be. But like, I wasn't pretending. If you're a woman who doesn't cook and clean and do those things naturally, that's not something that you can maintain. So I would say, like, be you so that you can maintain that. Like, obviously Dee won't be mad at me if I don't cook or clean for him, but you know, those are things that I naturally love to do. He goes to Killeen. He's there for what, like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, almost just shy of a month.
Yeah, just shy of a month.
Do you remember how I got home though?
Not yet, but let me get there.
Okay.
So he's in Killeen, and literally I'm still looking cute on FaceTime, but I would screen record videos of him while he'd be talking. So I have like 40, 50 videos of just screen, like no audio, just Dee on my phone or my iPad, which I know it's creepy, but I was like, when I'm not on FaceTime with him, I want to look at him to see, like, am I really attracted to him? I don't know. Like, I'm scared to trust him. Like, what is he going to do to me? Why does he like me? I don't know. We literally are just talking every day. We're falling asleep on the phone. I'm falling asleep on the phone every night on FaceTime with him. And he hangs up. And I remember so Dee's in Killeen. Our camera, like, jolted on us. So we got to start again. So Dee's in Killeen, and we're talking every night before bed. And I just remember, like, we had only been on one date in person. And while he was gone in Killeen, I remember we'd be on the phone. And then one night, he fell asleep, too. So we woke up together on the phone. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I think I love this guy. There were moments where I wanted to tell him when we were having these deep conversations, I wanted to say to him, I love you. I wanted to say it so bad. And I was like, I've only been on one date with him in person. But from the time we were talking over Christmas, and then now we've been talking every day for like 5 hours every day. But I wasn't pretending. I think that when you really fall in love is when you're able to be yourself with somebody. I feel like that is what makes you fall in love with someone. Like, being able to fully be yourself. And I felt like, because I felt like I didn't like you, there was nothing. It was just like, I'm just Sierra. I just liked talking to you. You made it so easy. And I wanted to tell him I loved him. So he ended up, they asked him if he wanted to stay longer in Killeen for Army stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I was like, nah, I'm good.
you're like, I gotta go to LA and see this girl. Putting in the final edits for our How We Met video, and I realized that I cut D off. So when he was in Killeen, baby love, tell them what happened.
So basically, I was supposed to stay like 28 days or 25 days.
Yeah.
And the Army had asked me, hey, you want to stay for like 30 days? And I was like, absolutely not, because Sierra and I had already planned to meet up on the, what day was it? Like January 4th or something?
January 2nd.
2nd. So as we're preparing, there's a snowstorm in Killeen. So I think I was supposed to actually get there like the 29th or, I don't know, it was at the end of December. And all the flight, because Killeen has a tiny ass airport. Everything was canceled. Everything. So I come back the next day to Colleen, the next day at the airport, and they literally, they're like, oh, yeah, they keep bumping back my flight. I think I was supposed to leave at like noon. I get up, they pushed it back to 2. They pushed it back to 4. Then they pushed it back to 5. So I drive to the airport. They're like, hey, Derwin, we've canceled everything again. I was like, no, I need to meet this girl for a second time. Like, it was just so important. Like, it felt important to me. So I get in the car line, and I end up finding out they only had like 1 or 2 more rental cars left.
That's it? I didn't know that.
Seriously, it was like literally like
I didn't know
down
that.
to like the last bit of rental cars.
Yeah.
Or was that before they closed? Was that and I think they were about to close? Or no, you know what? It may have been they were about to close. I think that's what it was. They were about to close because I waited a long ass line just to tell me, oh, we've canceled your flight. So I rush over, and again, it's a small airport, so it's not like I have to do a mad dash. It's like 150 meters away, and the Army's not going to pay for this because when you're traveling on Army time, they're paying for everything. The Army would per policy, I would have just stayed another night and they would have been fine. But you have to understand, I was so determined to get out of there. I had checked out of my hotel, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to go back. Like I was determined
To see me.
Yeah. So they're like, so I asked them. I said, "Hey, how much is a rental car?" Because the connecting flight was in Fort Worth, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Well, if you do a 1-day rental, drive to Fort Worth or whatever, they're like it's $175. I'll take it." So I took it, drove my 2-3 hours, and they said the connecting flight was at, I don't know, like 8 o'clock or whatever, and I was like, I can do it. So I drove, got in the car,
I remember you called me.
and I drove, and I'm calling Sierra like, hey.
So that we could go on the second date.
Yeah.
So we could see each other after we'd been on this FaceTime for damn near a month.
Yep, and that's...
Because at this point, we're both like, okay, we need to see each other again.
Yeah, and I paid $175 out of my own pocket. So I could see my beloved Sierra.
Your future wife.
Which I did not know that at the time.
Aw, baby love. I love you.
I love you too.
That's so special to me. And I kept asking Dee, I was like, oh my God, like, we've been talking so much. When you get back and we meet in person again, we're not going to have anything to talk about when we see each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's so late, you guys. I've been up since 4.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, and you were like, no, we will. What if we have this connection over the phone, but it doesn't translate in person? And so he hurried up and got back to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And we had I call it like our first, like to me, our second date is like our first date. One of the days when he was in Killeen, somebody said something to me and it really triggered one of my traumas. He and I had been talking on the phone on that particular Sunday. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. Like, I can't talk to you. Like, I don't know if I can trust you. Like, I'm scared. I just don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't want to dive in. He ended up being like, Sierra, like, what changed? That day, he asked me for my address. And he, sent me the most stunning flowers the very next day. And he sent me this email basically telling me, like, you deserve, I don't know why you don't think you deserve to be loved or whatever, but you do. And he wrote some really beautiful words. I still have that email. And so by the time he'd come back, I got those flowers, and he was just doing all of these really sweet things. I'll just tell you one more other thing that he had done. I remember on one of our FaceTimes when he was in Killeen, I was going to the gym, and Big Red is my favorite gum. Like, it is my favorite gum. I was on my way to the gym, and I stopped off at Ralph's to get, some Big Red right before my class. And I went into Ralph's while I was on the phone with him. I got there, I was like, dang, I don't have Big Red. So he had already had my address at this point because I got the flowers. The next day, he was like, oh, I sent you a little something. I was like, what did he send me? And it was a big old ghetto pack of Big Red gum. Mm-hmm. And And I was like, D, like, why did you? He's like, well, I heard you when you were on the phone with me, you didn't have gum. And I was just like, oh my God. He was really paying attention. And even to this day, my husband is still buying me big ass ghetto packs of Big Red gum. He's always like, my baby didn't have Big Red. Like, let me get some more Big Red. So we always have Big Red around the house. When he came back, he picked me up, and I was like, Sierra, I was like, God, please let me have butterflies. Just like, let me like him, please. Please let me be attracted to him in person and like him. And when he came, I have butterflies, and we went for a walk.
Yeah, Balboa Park.
We went for a walk at Balboa Park, and D kept his sunglasses on the whole time. And I remember asking him when we got in the car, because we were going to go to have dinner. I said, well, how come you can't look at me in the eye? Like, why can't you, like, look at me?
Yeah, you're tired about to fall asleep.
I'm tired. I'm so tired. D's like, I'm like, why can't you look at me when you know, because we were at the park, and he just kept his sunglasses on the whole time. I was like, why can't you look at me? And when we got in the car, he's like, if I look at you, I might turn into stone.
I'm very nervous. It's like, clearly she didn't mean to meet me here. I was like, oh my gosh. I was very nervous.
I know, because he's kind of shy. People like, even though he has a really outgoing personality, people don't know my baby's he's kind of shy. He's extroverted, but he's also, it takes him a minute sometimes. I told him on my first message on Hinge, oh, like, I went to Pisana with my girlfriend, and I loved Pisana more than I love her, so we went to Pisana. People were like, oh my God, you guys are so cute. And we shared an acai bowl at Creation, and then we sat in Dee's car. And at this point...
Oh my gosh. Look, we can finish this tomorrow.
No. See, we're married now.
You yawned the whole thing.
At this point, we've been together for how many hours? You picked me up from my apartment at what, like 4?
No, for that.
2?
Something like that.
He picked me up at like 2 p.m. At this point, it's like 10 p.m. And I'm like, is he ever going to kiss me? And the reason I thought that was because we had already put in a god-awful amount of hours on the phone, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to kiss. Like, let's kiss.
I was mortified.
And I just remember we were sitting this close in Pisana. We're in Pisana. What do you think of Pisana?
It's excellent. Wow.
This is the very first restaurant I told you about when you messaged me on Hinge. What do you think?
This is as good as advertised.
I told you I told you I was more excited to have the pizza than to see my friend.
You did say that, and you said it is excellent, and you have not disappointed. Oh, it's excellent.
So good.
It's better than the pizza place I was telling you about before.
Which one? Oh, in the message? I don't remember which one.
Yeah, this is better.
Okay, so you got which one did you get? You got the Pignaccio. You got the, there it is. So cute. Yay.
Excellent.
So cute. Like, in the booth, it was all dim, and I was like, I was this close. I was like, is he gonna kiss me? Kiss me already.
I didn't believe in kissing on the first date.
That wasn't a first date, though.
I didn't kiss on the second date either.
But we had been putting hours and hours.
I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, you see? You don't feel comfortable with anything.
And then I got bullied. You're gonna kiss me.
No, that's not what happened. So we were in his car.
Are you gonna kiss
I did not say that.
You said that.
I did not. D,
So I
did
went
not,
in for the kiss very timidly.
D, I did not ask you. Babe, stop lying.
It's true.
I was just like leaning in the center of the car. I'm like this close to his face.
But that's what she said. She may have not said it, but she said it. Because she, like, as I'm talking to her, she keeps getting closer and closer. I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, this is so strange. Why is this one keep getting closer to me? I don't feel very comfortable. And then I was like, oh, she's demanding. Like, it's the kind of the hitch thing. You come, like, it's the 80.
I went in. I was like, nigga, you have to go. Like,
she went 95%, so there wasn't really, and we were in a car, so there wasn't really space for me to back up or move forward. So it was just like, oh, so she kind of forced herself.
And then show them the kiss you gave me.
It was a gentleman's kiss. It was
show them the
it was
kiss.
a oh.
What is that?
I wasn't trying to go to third base.
What is that? What is that kiss? That wasn't even a kiss just now. That's the bullshit he gave me.
Even though you're a bully.
I'm not a bully, baby. Give me a kiss.
No.
Why?
Finish your story.
Give me a kiss.
No,
See,
finish your
just
story.
give me a
Not on
kiss.
camera.
Why? See, he's shy. Give me a kiss, baby.
No. Dude.
Why? I'm gonna just take it.
Like I said, but you're not a bull.
I took it. You just gotta take it, girl.
Can this end now? I'm tired.
No, let me just say the last thing. The night that, after Deke finally kissed me and he took me home, he asked me in his car, he said, how long is, like, what is the time frame of when you can ask somebody to be your like, be with them exclusively? And, why are you making me yawn?
Because I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
He was indirectly asking me to be exclusive with him. And he had already told me, like, I'm serious about you. I'm not dating anybody else. I've deleted Hinge. I want to be with you. So in his car that night, I just looked at him and I said, I said, Derwin, like, if...
Will you take care of it?
No, that's not what I said.
Oh.
I said, if you want to be with me, you have to promise that you'll take care of me. And I said, I'm not just talking about money. I said, I mean, you really have to promise that you're going to take care of me. And he said, I promise I will. And your girl has never felt more taken care of, more seen, more loved, more valued, like ever.
I'm so glad.
And he always has kept that promise through everything. We have our challenges as a couple or whatever, but we, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, like, we always try to outserve each other and outdo one another.
We do.
And you've always taken really good care of me.
I appreciate it.
So I would just say, like, there's so much more to the story, but...
I'm tired. I don't have anything else to say.
I know. I would just say, you know, maybe give the guys a shot you wouldn't give a shot. The short guy or the bald guy.
I'm done. You sound ridiculous.